If you've been listening to this podcast, you know I think it's really important to talk about period pain openly. Most of us only have the opportunity to do that with the people that we hang out with regularly, plus maybe people in our social network online. But today, I'm talking to someone who has been talking about their period pain on stage and online to an audience of millions. So let's just get into it, yeah?
What's happening to your body? We don't know, cause we've never really studied the female. Say it's all in my head, but the research is quite spotty. No, we've never really studied the female body. I go to the doctor to get dismissed. Try losing weight, you're just anxious. That's fine, that's cool, I'm not pissed. Just wait 10 years for a diagnosis. Psychosomatic, you're so dramatic. Hysterical, emotional, hormonal, erratic. Heart disease, chronic fatigue, depression and anxiety. Do you have pain? No, you don't, because we've never really studied the female body.
Welcome back to CRAMPED, the podcast where I try to find answers to my and other people's questions about their period pain. I'm your host, Kate Helen Downey. If you just found this podcast, you might want to go back and start from the beginning of season 1. You'll get the whole story of my death cramps, some of the history of women's healthcare, and the reasons why we've never really studied the female body, like the song says. If you enjoy this podcast, if you think that the work we're doing is important, and if this podcast has made a difference in your life, please join our Patreon at patreon.com/cramped. When you join the Patreon, you get access to bonus episodes, as well as access to ad-free episodes, plus a Discord community full of other crampers. As always, I am not a doctor. None of this is medical advice. Everything on Cramped is just my own and other people's personal experiences. And today, we're talking to someone who has been doing comedy about her period pain to millions of people for years. You know, between appearing on hit shows like Saturday Night Live, Agatha All Along, and Ghosts. You may recognize her from this clip from one of her stand-up shows, which has over 22 million views on Instagram. Shared here with her permission.
Doctors are now saying that the pain we feel when we experience period cramps is equivalent to the pain we feel when we have a heart attack. So we've been enduring this pain for years and just going to work, buttoning up, going to work, because we're trained that way. And I think these tampon commercials are detrimental. They're always like, oh, you're on your period? Don't let that stop you, girl. Get out there. Go surfing. Go play a sport. Get on a horse. I don't want to do that when I'm not on my period. Stop trying to force me outside. I want to lay down. If you saw a man bleeding uncontrollably and having a 4-day-long heart attack, you wouldn't be like, don't let that stop you. Get on a horse.
For obvious reasons, I'm obsessed. I'll let her introduce herself.
I am Sasheer Zamata, and I'm a comedian, and I have had periods for a long time and period pain for a long time.
Sasheer, tell me about your period pain.
I guess I got my period when I was 13. I've always had a heavy flow. I do feel like in high school I was in severe pain, had to be excused from class pain. I don't know who suggested it, because I don't know if my mom would have suggested it, but someone was like, you should go to a clinic. So I was prescribed birth control, orthotricycline, and that was to manage the period pain. And
Did you said your mom wouldn't have suggested it. Were you the oldest, or did you have older sisters?
I am the only girl, and I am the oldest child. And my mom was very she explained a lot of stuff to me, but was also very Christian and was straight up like, any matters down there is between you and the Lord.
Okay.
So I remember one time I asked about tampons, because my friends are using tampons. I want to use a tampon that seems easier than a pad, or at least less bulky. Can you show me? And she was kind of like, no.
Oh.
I don't remember how she phrased it, but somehow insinuating nothing should be going up there.
You got that message.
Yeah,
loud
yeah.
and clear.
Yeah, she was like not the person to like ask specific questions, but she did get me birth control, so that was nice. I guess she at least didn't want me in pain.
Yeah. Okay, so you went on birth control, and when you went to the doctor and you were like, I'm having really bad period pain, the answer was just go on birth control.
Yeah, I don't remember any in-depth conversation. Like, there was no question about my diet or my body. Like, there was just, oh, yes, of course, the answer is birth control.
No follow-up for further tests or...
No.
Yep.
Yeah.
That sucks.
It does suck. Yeah, and I didn't realize until my 30s. I was like, oh,
Right.
shit, I've been on birth control since I was 16. And never questioned it.
Did birth control help?
It did help. Yeah, it did help manage the pain. But like you said, there was no follow-up of like, hey, when your body develops more, let's readdress this. Or like, let's see what else is going on. Is the pain still happening?
It feels so hard to talk about birth control right now because it does feel like you're either like, everyone should be on birth control, it's the best thing ever, and doctors are throwing it at you, or you're like, a Maha person who is like, no one should be on birth control. It's a scam. It's a conspiracy. And it's like, oh, there's a middle ground where it's a really good tool that works for a lot of people for specific situations, but it is not a cure for anything. And it is not something we should be taking with no understanding of like how it's affecting our body.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's definitely a great tool to use if you actually want to prevent pregnancy. And
exactly.
I think there's a oversight as far as like, oh, we were just pumping our little girls with hormones for years and years and years and not even questioning it.
Before they're fully grown, before their hormonal cycles have like even stabilized. Okay, so you went on birth control. It did help.
Yeah.
You had a truce with your period pain for a little while, mediated by birth control.
Yeah.
What happened next?
I guess in my 20s, I wanted to try an IUD because I was kind of tired of taking the pill regularly. I would like to not think about this. Right. And so I got an IUD, which was, a painful process. And I bled consistently for like 4 months. And they're like, that's
oh my God.
normal. And I was like, oh, all right.
Wouldn't have chosen this maybe if I'd known that.
Yeah. And then I didn't bleed for months and months. And which also probably isn't normal, but I was like, that's what this does.
That's fine. Yeah.
And I think I had that for 3 years. And this was a Mirena. I was at least told that this IUD was going to make things like a little off kilter for a minute and then like even out ideally. But I feel like it was like kind of off kilter. Like I didn't know what to expect. Like I was never regular again. I was like never, my period was never regular. It was either like super heavy or like nothing for a long time or like spotting for weeks and weeks. It was just like unpredictable. I was still getting cramps. It wasn't like painless. And even when I was on the pill, it wasn't painless. I still had cramps, but it wasn't as painful when I had nothing.
Yeah.
Then I felt like I wanted to try something else other than the Mirena, and I tried the Nexplanon, which is the arm implant.
Yeah.
And I bled for almost a year. Like I was like just consistently bleeding, like spotting and then periods. I was like never really sure when my actual period was happening because I was just bleeding so much.
Right.
And
that's so hard to live your day-to-day life.
Yeah, I was kind of operating like I'm just going to bleed today. So then I took that out because I was like, well, this is clearly not working for my body. This is not it. And then I was like, you know what? Let me just take a break. Let me just have nothing in my system for a minute because I think my system is on like override right now. And it really did feel like things were actually like balancing. Then I was like, oh wait, my periods can be regular. Actually, they are regular. They just now it's just coming every month, and that's nice. The period pain, I guess it was like there, but not like as extreme as I thought it would be. Because I was like expecting it to be like, oh my God, this is gonna be like painful because that's what I remembered from my teen years. And it wasn't.
There was like fear maybe driving some of those decisions to stay on some kind of birth control that whole time.
Definitely.
Totally understandable.
Yeah. Then in the last couple years, I guess I'm also used to, heavy periods or like heavy flow. So I didn't think anything of it. But then in the last couple years, they were getting heavier. And I was like, I guess, I don't know. I don't know what's happening. When I got my IUD taken out, or when I wanted to get my IUD taken out, they did an ultrasound and they were like, oh, your IUD's not here anymore. It fell out, I guess, or got pushed out. And in its place is a fibroid. There was a fibroid on my cervix. And
first of all, you would have noticed, right? Like an IUD coming out of your vagina?
I mean, I've noticed something. There was like a time I do have memories of like I'm seeing something where I'm like, that's weird, but I didn't know what it was.
I feel like such weird stuff happens to our bodies. A lot of times we're just like, well, I
Truly.
guess that's a thing my body does now.
Truly, I'm like, I don't know. Something came out of me, but I don't know if that's it. So yeah, they were like, your IUD's not there. But I guess the fibroid was kind of acting like an IUD because of the position that it was in. So thankfully, I wasn't at a lot of risk of getting pregnant. And my doctor at the time, who I have since stopped seeing because I didn't feel as informed as I would have liked to, she was kind of like, we should just remove the fibroid. That was like the only option I was given. There was no talk of, can we decrease it? Or what does it feel like to just manage it or, you know, monitor it. But it was just like immediately like remove fibroid. And I was like,
you were not given options.
Yeah. And so I didn't know. And so I was like, I guess that's what we do. We remove the fibroid, and we did. And then, you know, I healed from it and life went on. And then a couple of years ago, I went to my girlfriend and I saw this Instagram reel that I think a lot of people probably saw, where it's like, I went to Turkey and got all this stuff checked out.
Yep.
And we were like, we should do that. So we went to Turkey and got like a full body scan.
How was that?
It was so cool. It was really cool. Like,
I think the reason we in the US are kind of obsessed with it is because we're so used to doctor-patient interactions like what you had, where it's like, here's something that's wrong with you, here's what you have to do about it. And the idea of just going to get a ton of information about your body and then being able to like make choices based on that information is a mind-blowing way for that process to go for us.
Absolutely.
We're like, oh, that does sound better.
Yes. Yeah. It's so, yeah, it was just like, here are actual results. Here's actual, like, we are testing this thing. Here is the result for that thing. Here are suggestions, but you can make your own decision. And I was like,
yeah,
so nice. Like, yeah, they did like my eyes, my thyroid, my heart, but then also there's a gynecology appointment. Yeah. And they did an ultrasound and they were like, so we found several polyps. And I was like, several? What? I didn't know I had one. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And I explained that I had gotten a fibroid removed a couple years before, and they're like, it's possible, like, because of the removal thing, like other growths came up after the surgery, or it's unrelated. We don't know, but you should get a second opinion. So when I came back to the States, went back to my doctor to look at the polyps, and she was kind of like, yeah, these are polyps, and same thing, like, we can just remove them. I was like, I've had fibroids. I have polyps. Is there something I can do to prevent this, or like just try to like make sure this doesn't happen again?
Yeah.
And she was like, well, the only thing I can suggest is getting back on birth control. And that's when I really was like, oh, you're not my doctor. Like, I actually have to stop seeing you because I don't like this mentality. I have been here before. I don't want to be told that birth control is my only option. That's wild.
Right.
So my girlfriend found this woo-woo fertility doctor. It's like moon midwifery.
Oh my God, love it. Listening to so many people's stories and like having my own experiences, so often the people who are going to be your like pelvic detective, they are not your doctor. They are like an alternative practitioner because they tend to have a much more like holistic view of your body and how it's working. And they have time to spend with you and explain things to you and hear your concerns. And so, yeah, maybe they're not the person you want doing surgery on you, but they maybe are the pathway to like figuring out your options and what's best for you.
Yeah. Which is annoying that it's like we have to go to multiple people to get something done.
And that we're so vulnerable. Going that way puts so much more responsibility on you to make sure that this person is not grifting you, this person is not full of shit, and that is a lot of responsibility.
I know.
Okay, so you found this
Yes.
moon midwifery person?
Yes. We did a blood test, like a full blood panel, and she was like, your iron's really low. And I've always been borderline anemic, probably because I've been bleeding so much. Because I've been bleeding so much for so long. I have no blood. So she's like, you have no blood. And she's also like, your testosterone is really low. And we need to like balance that out. So she gave me this supplement program where she put me on some kind of iron. I can't remember what it was called. DHEA, calcium, vitamin D, selenium. It was a lot. I was like, oh my God. I was like, I had a whole box. It was like so many pills that I had to take a bunch for 3 months and then a bunch for 6 months. And I'm like wrapping it up now. So I need to like make a follow-up appointment and see if my stuff has leveled out. I don't remember what month it was, but like maybe month 3 or 4, I had my first painless period.
Oh my God.
I didn't feel it coming when it happened. I didn't know it was happening. I knew it was happening because it was happening, but I was like, oh my God. Like it was like noticeable. I was like, I have a period and I don't feel pain. This is amazing.
Yeah. That's amazing to have that much result just from like, not just for, because obviously it took a lot of effort and money and thought to get to the point of supporting yourself that way. But being able to have that kind of support and see that much of a result from it is amazing.
Yeah, it really is. I was impressed. I didn't know what to expect because I've tried so many things and have gotten not great results. So I was not, my expectations were low, but I was pleasantly surprised and I'm so glad. And I'm very intrigued to see like what my levels look like now and if I need to keep taking all of these supplements or if I can only take some of them or what that looks like for the future. But I'm feeling a positive trend right now, which is nice.
Yeah. Have you gotten a follow-up ultrasound to see if the polyps are like bigger, smaller, still there, gone?
I haven't done a follow-up ultrasound yet, but I did see another doctor to ask her opinion on removal versus like other methods. She looked at all my blood, like everything. She looked at like my turkey blood work, all my scans from my other doctor. And also like when they look at the ultrasound, they just see masses. They think it's a polyp, but they don't know exactly what it is yet.
Right.
And so she's like, this could be a polyp or this could be scar tissue from the surgery that you had to get rid of the fibroids. And I was like, oh. Which,
damn.
I know. Both could be removed, but I guess if it's a scar tissue, there's no urgency, I guess, or like other than the fact that like I could be in pain when my period happens, but it's not, it can't be cancerous or anything. It's scar tissue, but, and it could go down, but I don't know exactly how. But those are more questions I need to ask of like, if it is scar tissue, can it go down? Or can we figure this out without having to like remove part of it?
It's also like, is it affecting your quality of life? Like, is it something that really needs to be addressed surgically or like?
Yeah, I guess initially because I was in pain and they had found masses, whatever they are, then it was like, okay, well, I guess I don't want it to stay there if it is affecting my quality of life. But since the pain is alleviating, I don't necessarily need to like rush to get this removed because also like there's a risk of more scar tissue being formed or other growths happening. So like, yeah, but these are just more questions to ask.
Right. It'll be really interesting to see when they do another ultrasound, comparing the two, even just getting that amount of information of like, have they grown? Have they stayed the same? Have they shrunk? That will give you so much more data on which to make another decision.
Yeah, definitely.
It's so cool that you were able to find the kind of support that you need and that it's been so effective. That's awesome.
Yeah. It took a while, but I did find some finally, thankfully.
We're going to take a quick ad break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Cramped. We're talking with Sasheer Zamata about her period pain and how she found support that works for her. I want to ask you a little bit about your way of talking about your period pain and period pain in general, because about 4 years ago now, you had a clip go viral of a stand-up set where you were talking about period pain. Right now on Instagram, that reel has over 22 million views. So like a lot of people have seen it. It definitely struck a chord. Yeah. It has been like reshared everywhere. Have you always talked about your period and topics like that in your stand-up?
I think so. Yeah, I do feel like I've always been very vulnerable and open. I feel like it's natural for comics to talk about like sex and I don't know, kind of be lewd. And I was definitely doing that. But then it also didn't feel unnatural for me to also talk about what my body was doing.
Right, right.
And periods and, because people have shit jokes or whatever. And, it just felt like in the same vein. But I guess I was getting a kick out of the reactions I was getting from people who don't have periods and don't understand it. Some people will be like grossed out, but I'm also like, why are you grossed out? Picking at that, being like, let's analyze that. And also getting reactions from people who do have periods who feel relieved, feel like, oh, okay, we can talk about this. Because I think, a lot of people are suffering in pain silently and don't feel like they can talk about it or don't know other people have the same experience or whatever. Once I started doing it, I would get people who come up to me after the show being like, oh my God, I had that same experience, or like tell me their own personal stories about bleeding or pain. Yeah. It made me feel like, okay, so like people do need to hear this. And it's actually funny, the set that I did that's viral, it was like just for laughs, and I think we had maybe 7 minutes or 9 minutes to do or something like that. And I was like, I didn't know what I wanted to do exactly, but I knew I had a collection of jokes related to periods. So I was like, okay, I can smash them all together and make a little set like that. And then I did, and then posted it. And I guess, millions of people can relate to it and understand that pain. And I also like to have a little bit like history and backstory and information in my stand-up because it's fun for me. I like doing research like that. It's another wow factor for the audience to be like, wait, what? Periods feel like heart attacks? I didn't know. Like, and all the people who have periods are like, yeah, I could have told you that.
Right. As I was like looking for this clip, I came across a Snopes article about this clip. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, there's like a Snopes thing that's like, is this true or not? And they like cite your video as one of the places that this fact has been cited of that periods are as painful as heart attacks. It's such an annoying, pedantic article that is basically saying like, well, there's no research papers that actually say this. So science like hasn't actually said this. There is a doctor in London who like gave a quote to quartz.com about some of his female patients telling him that their periods hurt almost as bad as a heart attack. And then that quote was like picked up by a lot of different people because it rang so true for a lot of people. And then they're like, it's not like scientifically validated. And it's like, oh, you don't think to mention that so many people who get periods are agreeing with this and are saying, hey, we need more attention paid to this. We need to research this more. Like, that's not part of this fact check. Like, that's okay.
Yeah, it's also like maybe part of the problem is why it's not being researched is because a lot of the research in the medical field is based on men's bodies.
Exactly. Yeah. And historically, hasn't been a ton of curiosity around this particular pain in this particular group of people.
Yeah, definitely.
Did you ever get reactions from people that were like, you shouldn't be talking about that?
I don't think I got reactions that were like, you shouldn't be talking about that. I think I just got people like being grossed out and just like male audience members being like, ugh. I'm not a comic who likes to like roast the crowd or anything, or like I'm not like one of those comedian owns heckler or whatever. I can't. I don't have the energy for that. But when someone is like has a strong negative reaction to something I'm saying, I feel like a social scientist. I feel like I'm very like curious. I'm like, well, let's dig in. Like, what?
Right.
Why are you grossed out by that? Why? And you came with your wife. What's the issue here? Like, are you not aware of her periods? What, does she hide it from you? Like,
let's talk to her.
Yeah. How do you feel about the fact that your husband is? Yeah. So I feel like I'm more like Socrates asking questions like, where do we think this started?
Yeah. So you've also talked in your comedy about other medical interactions that you've had that you have been very unhappy with and realizations you've had about navigating the healthcare system. Talk me through a little bit of what happened there and how you came to have that perspective.
Yeah. In my last special, my second special, The First Woman, I have a story about when I got hit by a car in college. It was a wildly unexpected thing. And I went to the hospital and was there for so long. And I felt like nothing was broken on my body. I've never had a broken bone. because I'm an X-Men. And but I was just like, I feel like nothing's broken. I think I'm okay. I just really need some ice and some painkillers. And I was like sitting in a stretcher for hours. A nurse came by and they were like, do you need anything? And I was like, yeah, some ice and some painkillers.
A doctor?
And a doctor? And he was like, oh, we can't do that because, you know, they need to like assess the pain. And if we take the pain away, they won't know what's broken. And I was like, all right, I trust you.
Yeah.
You're the expert. And then I go to get my head scanned, and then they're like, yeah, just like stand right here, which I still have no idea why they told me to stand. I was like, I guess, sure.
Where were you hit by the car?
My whole dang body. Like it hit the main impact was like my knees. Like,
no.
Yeah, the car, like the front of the car hit, like swiped me, and I like hit my knees. I rolled up on the hood, bounced off. And then my head hit a different car in a different lane, and then I landed on the ground.
Jesus.
I probably look like a rag doll, just like flopping in the air.
And then they're having you stand in a scanner?
Yeah, because I guess they knew my head got hit. So they were like, the lay down one's already occupied, so you need to stand here. And I was like, I don't know if I should be standing. And they're like, no, it's fine. And then I did. And then I sat back down, and I was like, fuck, my knees. And they're like, oh, wait, why do your knees hurt? And I was like, I got hit by a car? And they're like,
because somebody just got the order
for my
the
head
scanner and didn't look at you or ask you questions. Yeah,
literally, yeah. And then I was like waiting for the doctor. She came in like 7 hours later and was like, okay, yeah, we got all your tests back, and looks like nothing's broken. You just need some ice and some painkillers. And I was like, yeah, yes, I know. I have been saying that this whole time. And so, like, that story was kind of a jumping off point for me to talk about how Black women aren't listened to in these medical spaces. And it's happened to so many, like, my mom has so many stories about it. My friends have so many stories about it, like, where it's like they know they have pain or they have an inkling of why something is happening. And then the doctor's just like, think they're overreacting or just like fully do not and like this happens to women in general, but it is exponentially higher for Black women.
100%. Yeah.
And also it's like more fatal for Black women.
Yeah.
There's so many women who die during childbirth, and like Serena Williams almost died during childbirth because she wasn't being listened to. Right. She was like vocal about her blood clots, and they're like, no, it's fine.
The idea of not listening to an elite athlete at that level who's saying something's going on with my body that's not okay, and they're like, you're fine, is so crazy. It's crazy. Especially with like the like level of care that she was having, that it still is that like possible, that prevalent at that level. Yeah, how do you escape that?
I know. Yeah, you would assume that she probably has like the best doctors.
Right.
And even them, they were like, nah. So, yeah, just kind of giving a lot of examples on how much of an oversight that is. And also, like, how a lot of medical trainings are still outdated. There's, like, still medical books that are saying Black people have thicker skin. So you need to, like, use force when you draw blood from them. Or just,
which, for the record, is not true.
Is not true. It's not true. And also, like, I think it's ingrained, probably generational trauma. There's so many Black families who are like, oh, I don't go to the doctor. Or like, I don't trust doctors. I don't go to the hospital because either they have seen people get mistreated or turned away from treatment, or I'm sure there's been a lot of moments of people just like straight up lying and being like, no, I'm fine. Because they just rather not deal with it. They just rather not deal with the mistreatment.
And if you have been trying to get treatment for decades and nothing has worked, why would you keep trying the same thing over and over again and expect a different result?
Yeah.
I mean, it took me 22 years of having severe period pain where I was throwing up, passing out, incapable of doing my day-to-day activities when I would have my period. And I'm a white woman in an average-sized body, middle class, like access to doctors, and it took me 22 years. I do not blame anyone for giving up or being frustrated trying to get treatment.
Yeah.
We were talking about how little choices you were given at various points in your journey to try to figure out what was going on with your period and your pain.
Yeah.
I think that happens a lot too of, you know, hysterectomies similar to birth control. You hear a lot about hysterectomies, both doctors refusing to give someone a hysterectomy when they want it, when they have chosen that as their path for relief, that they have to get permission from their husband, that there's like all of these obstacles that shouldn't be there. Yeah. But then also on the other side, there's a lot of people basically being prescribed hysterectomies without being given other choices.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where it's like, should someone be able to get a hysterectomy if they want one? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Should it be the only choice ever given to them? No.
Yeah.
We should be able to walk that line. That's not really a line. That's a pretty thick sidewalk that we should be able to walk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. We need multiple choices, which I guess is like then on the patient to find multiple opinions. But that's so annoying.
Right. And with insurance, it's a full-time job and more. And that's really hard if you are struggling to make enough money to get by. If you are in pain a lot of the time and don't have the capacity to be doing all of this research and getting yourself to appointments. Like, it is rough. And so I love that your stand-up is normalizing talking about this stuff openly, because what I talk about a lot on this podcast is the more that we talk about our experiences, one, the less alone we feel, which has been proven research-wise to actually lessen the amount of pain we feel. Oh. Because we've evolved to be social creatures. And so when we feel isolated, our brain boosts pain signals. Because it's like something's wrong, you're by yourself. Something's even more wrong because you're alone.
Oh, wow.
And so someone who is in pain with their period, hearing your stand-up special or seeing it on Instagram may have actually like lowered their pain a little bit.
Oh, I really hope so. Cool. Oh, I love that.
But then also normalizing talking about our experiences also means there are more opportunities for us to exchange information about what has worked, what has been effective for us. 5 years ago, I don't think I'd ever heard the word endometriosis.
Yeah.
And 10% of people with uteruses are estimated to have it. If there had been more open discussion about period pain and about what other people had gotten diagnosed and treated for, I bet I would have gotten there a little sooner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's how I felt about the fibroid stuff. Like, I was talking about it to a friend, and she was like, oh, yeah, I have fibroids, but like my doctor said that we can just like decrease them as opposed to like removing completely. And I was like, I wish I had known that before.
I didn't know that was an option.
Didn't know that was an option. But you, the more you talk about it with people, then you can find out, oh, there are other ways, or maybe there's a specialist I didn't even know existed that can help me with this.
Yeah, I want to wrap up with a hypothetical scenario. Mm-hmm. You have the ability to beam one piece of information into the head of every single person that experiences period pain. What would that piece of information be?
Ooh. That you can use your period as an excuse for anything.
I love that. Tell me more.
I just feel like if you have to call out sick, that's an excuse. If your body's not functioning the way you want it to, that is a reason to not operate at 100%. So I think it's enough to be like, oh, I'm on my period, or I am out for the day. Like it's okay. Or being sluggish, or not being able to like be as productive as you want to be, or not as kind as you'd like to be. Like it's okay. I feel like when I was growing up, it was like ingrained in me to be like fully 100% operational.
Yeah.
While in pain, while I'm bleeding, while I want to take a nap. I got to a point where I was like, actually, this doesn't have to be 100%. Yeah. I don't feel 100%. I don't want to fake it. I don't want to pretend. I don't want to have to worry about making other people uncomfortable. Hey, I'm not at my best right now, so you're going to get what you get, and it's okay. And I just want other people to also adopt that. I mean, other countries are adopting that. Like, there's other countries that are fully like, you can call off if you are experiencing period pain, and that's so nice.
Oh my God. Sasheer, I have an episode I think coming up very soon about menstrual leave policies across the world, and like who has them, which ones are working, why are some of them not working, should we try to get one?
Yeah.
It's fascinating. You can see in all of these conversations that are happening about these different menstrual leave policies, so many people, including lawmakers, are like thinking about this for the very first time of like, wait, what do you mean women need a day off sometimes around their period? And it's like,
yeah, they do.
And every person is having their own individual experience. Not everyone needs a day off, but everyone should get to take one if they do need it.
Absolutely. Yeah. The other day I had my period and I wasn't experiencing cramps, but I had the worst brain fog. I was like, whoa, I cannot think. I was like, not on this planet. Everything just felt like slow. I felt like I was walking through molasses and I was trying to run errands and I was like, I just gotta lay down. Like I can't do anything right now. This is wild. And I like did a self-tape and I was like, I don't know what this is gonna turn out. Like my brain could not recall any of the words. It was crazy. But I was like, I just need to like tap out for the day because I'm not here.
Right. Thank you so much for talking with me today and telling me the story of your period pain. Where can people find you if they want to follow you for more?
My Instagram is @thesheer_truth, THE sheer truth. And my website where nothing really is going on there, but there's some information there. It's Sasheer.com. You can watch my first stand-up special, Pizza Mind, on Amazon or probably other places. And my second special, The First Woman, is on Hulu. Agatha All Along on Disney Plus. And, just look at my stuff.
I do, and I will continue to. That's it for this week's Cramped. If you've had an experience with period pain that you would like to share, join the Cramped Patreon, even at the free level, and you'll be able to access a post where you can tell me about your story. You can also reach out to me on Instagram @KateHelenDowney or email us at crampedpodcast@gmail.com. See you next time.
What's happening to your body? We don't know because we've never really studied the female body.